Cheers. Thanks for having me back as well. It's nice to be here. Last time I was here, I did a bit of magic, and I just want to say that I'm not doing that today because I was just worried that if I keep doing magic, I'll be making a rod for my own back. I've got a bit of setting up to do, so while I'm doing that, I'm just going to introduce my warm-up act for this afternoon. You may know him. He's a new act. He's a lovely guy. He was born in a ditch. Mr. James Sarek.
All right. Yeah. So Slack Space is a community centre, isn't it? And creative hub. And was in town the other day and went to a community centre for a meeting. Was asked to leave. My hands were too big. And one of the guys came up to me and said, "You don't belong here. You're a prick." Yeah. So I went down to the park. After that, had a big old ice cream. And kicked a football at someone's head and it fell off. So that was good. Tom, do you have a fanzine on you?
Yeah.
Just one moment. Gonna read you a poem by Horace Darkside from his selection of poems from the dark side. This one is called Angel Jones. Angel Jones, take off your halo. It doesn't look good, and my wife hates you. And to finish the warming up, this is grind the pepper, mash the potato. A beautiful meal for one, cooked by 10. All the best chefs in the world cook for one person. That person is me. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Thom Barrett to the stage. Tom, are you?
We might need a little more ado.
Oh, a little more ado, apparently. What would you...
Can you just feed me?
Oh, right, yeah, sure.
Thanks, James. That's the first time I've got a round of applause at the Matinée. I should eat more, I think. These are mine. This is what I do. By the way, if you're wondering about the logistics of this, I do carry this around with me to every gig. It's becoming a bit of an encumbrance. But what I do really is actually really not comedy. You might have guessed that already from the intro, but I'm not really sure what it is, but I know that it's not comedy. Also, it's not anti-comedy either, so I don't want any of you thinking that I'm up here like purposely trying to be unfunny. I'm trying as hard as I possibly can to be funny, and I just need you to bear with me for the next 5 minutes or so. The good news is that it's not comedy, and it's not anti-comedy either. So what that means is if you can find anything to laugh at, please do. If anything, I encourage it. You might even want to laugh at that if you think about it, because it's a not joke, isn't it? All it is really is just some things like this. This is a thing, and what that thing clearly is the inside of a pomegranate, isn't it? That's exactly what it looks like, and that is exactly what it feels like. It's bad, isn't it? And not just because a pomegranate is small, like sort of too small, really. It's also because a pomegranate is inherently scary. I didn't see a pomegranate until I was about 25. I didn't eat a lot of fruit growing up, mainly crisps. When I was younger, going into prawn cocktails as adults. It's funny how you taste mature as you get older, isn't it? But then... I saw this pomegranate, I saw this person open this pomegranate up, and all these little fruits came out of the one big fruit, and to me, any number of little things coming out of one big thing is inherently scary. I see no difference between pomegranates and spiders' eggs. Is this accessible enough? Because sometimes I worry that I'm not very accessible, because I can be accessible like that, and that's accessible. Queues. Oh, I hate queues. Who hates queues? I hate queues. You're probably sitting there thinking, well, I wonder if Tom hates queues for the same reason that I hate queues. Well, I might surprise you, because the reason that I hate queues is too long. There are too many letters there for what is essentially a monosyllabic word. You could easily spell it like that, and no one would be any the wiser. I'll go one further. You could spell it like that. Or like that, if you're American. But I think there's a purist spelling of the word queues, which would be, it would be this, wouldn't it? I mean, it's the same amount of letters, but it's the same letter repeated, so there is an economy there. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, actually, they're two different definitions, those two spellings, and the reason we have those is there's two different definitions. We have those to differentiate between the two. But what I would say is you can easily just push these two together and form a Venn diagram for describing the two different types of queues. You're right. There's no way that would work. You can't use a Venn diagram for that purpose. I've got that up. It's one of those minions. I think it's from a film like Godfather Part 3 or something. But I put it in because some people only seem to be able to communicate through minions now. There is a lot on Facebook. But I'm just thinking it'd be quite nice if they said nicer things like maybe man's reach exceeds his grasp. Or it is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. He's on a scooter for that one. This is Gary. This is Gary, and Gary's one of those guys who says, what you see is what you get with me. And Gary's there to demonstrate that anyone who says that is a liar. Because I don't think... I mean, for instance, you can't see Gary's balls in that picture. And if you go with Gary, you're definitely going to get balls. You can't see any of Gary's interests. You can't see the fact that he once locked himself out of the house and had to poo in a carrier bag. You don't get that when you see Gary. Gary is a liar. This is good. This is some lines drawn on a pig. You might have seen that like in a butcher's or a textbook, or the textbook at a butcher's. But how many of us actually stop to consider what these lines of mystical power that run throughout the pig actually mean? What they are, they're a very handy guide for recognising meat. Because I do struggle with meat, I'm not really sure what it is at the age of 30. I look down at myself and I think, well, this appears to be mainly fat and bone. I don't know where the sirloin would come from. But then I asked the butcher, he drew me this picture and he explained that actually the meat is this bit. It's all of that. If it's on a pig, it's meat. If it's on me, it's not meat. Some of this stuff is pretty hard-hitting, guys. That's a spade. I tell it like it is. These are good. These are some non-specific cheeses. And they're really non-specific as well. Like this one up here starts life as one of your rounded cheeses, like perhaps an Edam, but then it tapers down into a point. So that could be maybe Edamizan or Brie Dam. This one over here starts life as one of your rolled cheeses, like maybe a goat's cheese, but then it goes back into a block. And the thing is, these aren't coloured in, so that could be red leicester, that could be cheddar. There's literally no way of knowing. Now, this one down here, this is flipping ridiculous, right? Because it starts out looking like that. That's a Battenberg. That's not a cheese. That's a cake, if anything. But then in the back, it's hold like a Swiss or an Emmentaler. But if that is Battenberg, that's now making me question the nature of those other two. Like, that might not even be goat's cheese. That could be anything, like a battery or an ovum. It's a dog doing a play. Mexican dog, but he is doing a play, so inherently a liar. I think I'll leave you with that, guys. You've been marvellous. Thank you very much for spending your time with me on a Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day, and wherever Slack Space goes, please do move with it, because it's a fantastic venue.